and welcome back to Mysteries Channel. So before I start my video, I want to thank Reddit, particularly the Fat Network, for answering a question I had on there about this neighborhood. Place called Passyunk Projects, the neighborhood that was right next to mine. I couldn't remember it for the life of me, and you told me the name, so thank you. And I also want to say thank you to James Singewald, who provided the pictures of the projects. I'll show them to you during the video, of course. So today's video is going to be about a Philadelphia experiment. Not the Philadelphia experiment that you're talking about or thinking about. If you're thinking about the one that happened in 1943 with the cloaked ship, no, not that one. No, silly. Wait, if you're thinking about the Holmesburg prison experiments? No, not that one. Not that one. No, it's a different one. It's my theory. Another crazy theory from me, and this is it. I'm going to call this the Philadelphia Project Experiment. Now, in my last video, I told you about the neighborhood I lived in Philadelphia. I lived in military housing. The neighborhood itself was called Capehart Housing, and it was housing for military personnel that worked at the Naval Shipyard. The Naval Shipyard was here. Roosevelt Park, or FDR Park, was here. Capehart Housing was right here. And right next to Capehart Housing was a place called the Passyunk Projects. Now, here's my theory. Listen to the end to tell me, does it hold water? Am I just nuts? I think this one might hold some water. And there's a lot of parts to it, but I'm only going to get into this one part of it. My theory is that the government did experiments on housing projects or with housing projects throughout America. The reason I think it was everywhere is because the housing I lived in, Capehart Housing, was everywhere. Capehart Housing was not a Philadelphia housing unit. Any naval base or Air Force base that had a certain look or aesthetic to their buildings, it was called Capehart Housing. Basically row houses. That's what you would call it in Philly. Everywhere else would call it a townhouse, but I think a townhouse is maybe a little bit more classy than a row house. So basically, this is what I think they were trying to understand. They wanted to see the best way they could control people. A lot of people in a small confined space. Now, they didn't know, is it easier, is it better to do it, A, this way? You know what? You earned this. You earned this. You did what you said you were going to do. You joined the military. You went to war. You came back with some severe psychological problems, and you were missing some body parts. But you know what? I'm thankful. And because you did what you said you were going to do, I'm going to do what I said I was going to do. Your family has medical, housing, and utilities paid for as long as you're in the military. You earned this. Good job. Or was it easier to control people when it was like this? You know what? You need help. I like you and I want you to succeed. I can see that you have nothing. I'm going to give you something. I'm going to give you free medical. I'm going to give you free housing. Your utilities, they're going to be paid. And you don't have to do anything at all for this. You be you. But hey, if you do things my way, there's more money in it for you. Okay. So I wonder, was Capehart Housing Passyunk Project, was this an experiment conducted by the government or whoever, but I'm pretty sure it's the government, in Philly and probably many, many, many other places around America? The control group, there is even a control group. The one group, the military group, they earned their standard of living, what they got. And this group, they received it. Both of them have levels of control placed upon them by the government. On the one side, the military side, even though you earned it, it can be taken away like this. Don't jack up, don't mess with the system, but we're gonna completely affect the rest of your life. Stay within the chain of command, and if you don't, we're gonna give you a dishonorable discharge, and it will all go away. And not only will we take away the stuff that you are earning, don't jack this up, buddy. And on this side, the system of control is this. Man, you've had an unfair shake, and I'm going to make it easier for you. I'm going to make it really easy. I hope you're grateful for this. I hope you are, because you're going to get this free, cool place to live. You're going to get this food. You have free medical, but don't mess it up. Don't mess it up. Don't try to get above where you are going to be, because if you mess it up, if you try to earn just any kind of money at all, we're going to take more away. And we're going to create this weird position in your brain where you think it's better to not make any money at all, because if I do, I lose my medical, I lose my housing, I lose this, I lose that. It's better for me to just stay here, stay at this one level. I think the government wanted to see which one played out better for them. Now, little synopsis here. I said these two neighborhoods were exactly the same. And they were. They were built at the same time, the mirror images of one another. K-Part Housing, Passyunk Projects. If you went into one neighborhood and you went into a house, it would have 3 bedrooms upstairs, 1 bathroom, a living room, a kitchen, and a half bath. If you went to the other neighborhood, exact same thing. Row houses with 8 houses, living dwellings inside of it, and they were just a lot of them, crammed next to people. When you went to the projects right next door, it was a surreal experience because you felt like you were at home, but it did not look the same. On the military base, people had windows and they had doors, and we had playgrounds. We had 2. One was really cool that we never got to play on because the older kids took it over. The other one was kind of lame, but it was a playground. You go to the other side, to the project side, and what did you see? Holes and broken windows everywhere. I'm not going to say every single house, but it was noticeable. It wasn't like that house had a big party. No, like there were no windows in a lot of houses. There were no front doors on a lot of houses. And there were people living in all of them. They were packed to the gills. We were packed to the gills. There were a lot of kids in that neighborhood. There were a lot of kids in my neighborhood. The playground, I don't even remember there being one at all. What looked like they were using as a playground was a bunch of mattresses that had dried blood on it and some upside down trash cans that you could use as drums. I later on found pictures from that photographer I mentioned at the beginning, James Singewald, that showed that there was a basketball hoop, but I do not even remember seeing that in there when I was a kid. Now, I think there are so many facets to this, and you wonder, now, why would your government want to do this? Why would they want to do this to their people? This doesn't make any sense. This is not the American dream. And no, my friends, indeed, it's not the American dream. Why I think they were doing this, or certain aspects of the government are doing this, it's for money. It's always for money. Now imagine this. They're doing the project experiment in Philadelphia, and they come across a realization like, damn, not only did we gain all of this knowledge, but looky here, look what I figured out. We have 2 sets of housing, and we're going to take taxes out of everyone's to maintain both these housings. This one, we're going to maintain. They're going to have windows and they're going to have doors. And this one, fuck it. They get nothing because they didn't earn that. They didn't earn that. We're just giving it to them because we are so good. We're so good. They're still taking out the same amount for both sides. Where did the money for Passyunk Projects go to? Where did the money for the project housing go? The one that's missing their doors and their windows, never been painted. Somebody's pocket, right? Now, let's just say that it gets deeper than that. Not only are they trying to figure out levels of control, what is the best way to control people, and they come across this realization that this is a great way to funnel money. We will talk to the people receiving welfare like we are there for them because, we don't want to jack this up. We care about you. We're sorry. We're sorry for the way the past played out for you, but we're here for you now. We're going to make it right. You deserve more. You deserve this. Here's my gift to you. Please take it. Meanwhile, they're skimming so much. Who actually goes and looks? Who looks to see how much money actually goes from the welfare system into the pocket of the recipients that it says that it goes to? I don't know. Our country is missing $11 trillion. I grew up with the military, and I feel like all those bases that I lived on or by, I've lived so many places, they're gone. My past is gone. I'm like a ghost wandering around. I can go to a lot of cities and be like, I lived here. Wait a minute. I have no idea where I am. This is not what I remember at all. All those bases are shutting down, but never does the money going to the military diminish in any kind of way. We have all these people on welfare, and we're building these huge projects. These project cities, these cities where people are going to get that housing so that everyone can have a certain standard of living. But when you go to see the standard of living, It's pretty damn awful, and it's barely a step above living on the streets in a lot of cases. If you have no windows and doors, you don't have heat, you're not warm, you know what I mean? And I just feel like welfare is presented to people as a way to help, but in reality, it's a way to funnel money. They want to control you and get money at the same time. And I think welfare and the military are ways that they can do that. $11 trillion, people. Let's look later on and see why they would want to do this. Why do they want to control people? Do they want to control people because they're poor? Do they want to control them for their race? They want to control them because they're easier to control. Kick them when they're down. That's a saying. And I think that's exactly the strategy they applied to this situation. They went for the people that lacked the most, to those as the ones that opened up the gate. The gateway is open, and now we can start grabbing money left and right. The military the same way. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have a military. I grew up off of it. I respect them, and I am totally with my dad on this. My dad, this is him in a nutshell. He believed in the American dream, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the 4th of July. I believe in all those things too. But I do think there is somebody up there that has their own agenda. Let's start figuring out what the hell it is. All right, thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you watched, please don't forget to subscribe, give me a like, and leave a comment. If you think I'm full of crap, tell me. I want to know. I want us to discuss this stuff. I think that like nobody's discussing. Everyone's putting their idea out there, and all of our ideas are different, but once we start actually bouncing them off each other, we might come up with some answers. All right, thanks.